3 points for the Toonami. Was it vintage Newcastle? No. Was it job done Newcastle in the end after quite a nervy finish? Yes, but I'm here to focus on the positives. It can be easy in the Premier League to be negative. My team today, we lost to Aston Villa. Really want to be negative. I'm not happy about it. But you have to look at the brighter side of things. And I think in today's video, in terms of Newcastle United's performance, in terms of things that have happened, Wissa coming on as well, there's a lot to really shout about. And that's where I'm going to be sort of taking this video. But before I do begin, if you're a Toon fan and you enjoy this video, hit the like, hit the subscribe. It is always greatly appreciated. And where I actually want to start is the performance of Joe Willock, because I feel like Joe Willock is picking up pace. Was he one of the world-class world beaters in the match? No. But was he taking on responsibility? Was he authoritative on the ball? Yes. I felt he was getting busy, he was picking up the ball in nice areas, he was carrying for nice distances. When you're looking at the pitch, and I'm not liking to do these comparisons, you see Jacob Ramsey for 40 million, then you're looking at Willock, a player who Newcastle United are willing to sell in the January window for around 20 million. Can you say there's a huge difference between the two? Not really. And I'm a massive fan of Jacob Ramsey, and I feel like he will, grow into things at Newcastle United and be a really, really good player. But that is how sort of good Willock has been. You wouldn't be able to distinguish that Ramsey's the 40 million player and Willock is the 20 million player that Newcastle United want to get sold. I think running off the ball, I think carrying, I think defensively as well, because it's a hard job in there because it was a different type of midfield. You saw Bruno Guimarães and you saw two advanced eights with Willock and, of course, Jacob Ramsey in front. So the workload off the ball, you've got to be on it. And to be honest, the first 20 or so minutes, Burnley were finding spaces. They were able to get into areas behind the Newcastle midfield because they were so attacking. But as the game developed, as Newcastle grew into the game, you started to see the impact of your Willock getting into nice positions. Ramsey as well had some nice moments in the game as well. Obviously, you'll be quite disappointed in his performance, and obviously the handball towards the end, which was quite unlucky. But I really enjoyed the performance of Joe Willock today. I feel like he can really kick on from this. And who knows, maybe this is a player that Newcastle United can keep long term. Because he clearly, as he gets better physically, as he adjusts in terms of the pace of the Premier League, again, coming back from that injury he had. I know it's been a couple games now that he's been back, but it's a positive sign to see him competing out there like he did. And another player who I think performed well was, of course, Anthony Gordon. He obviously hit the post. He had some nice moments 1v1 as well. Even against Tottenham, when he came off the bench, he was really impactful as well. So these are huge positives when you're looking at a player like Anthony Gordon, who hasn't been great in terms of the Premier League, Champions League. He's been making impacts, but in terms of Premier League, he's been struggling a little bit. And, he's now starting to pick things up. He's now starting to get goal contributions. He's now starting to spear Newcastle United forward. And you can only just say, yes, that is what we wanted to be seeing. And you can easily look at Newcastle United and be like, this result, good individual performance. I said Willock, I said Gordon, I think Malik Thiaw as well. There was a moment towards the end where Burnley were going forward. He just wins that ball back. And obviously, he's just a strong defender. I think he had a really solid game. Same with Livramento there. I think there was some really nice performances. Livramento picking up the ball in midfield. It's starting to be a real asset to Newcastle United in terms of opening up these teams. I think Walter Mado was a little bit quiet, but, we can't expect someone to be on it every single game. He's still new. But, in terms of the performance as a whole, there is huge disappointment. When the team goes down to 10 men, Anthony Elanga, I think I haven't mentioned, but he had some nice sparks, and I think Bruno Guimarães is a bit, it's a bit obvious that this guy is one of the best players on the pitch. Whenever he plays, whoever it's against, whoever else is in the other team's team, Bruno Guimarães always steps up. A wonderful goal from the corner kick. But when you're looking at it as the team as a whole, you get that red card for Burnley. You want to now keep going, keeping up the intensity. And I feel like that is where Newcastle United's improvement can come. We could talk about things that went well, but in terms of improvement, Freddie Howe is, okay, we've broken the puzzle. How can we kill the puzzle? How can we kill the game, end things, so there's not even a glimmer of hope for a team like Burnley? But there is no shame in genuinely finding Burnley a tough game. I've seen my team Arsenal play against Burnley. Tough team. Liverpool needed a last-minute penalty to beat Burnley. You can see the Premier League is just so competitive. You may look at the table and see, oh, Burnley are 18th. But they didn't play like an 18th place team, especially in that first 20 minutes. Even when they went 2 down, you could see the resilience. Every game is tough. And I always say this, even on my main channel with Arsenal, even with other teams I cover, don't take the Premier League for granted. Don't just look at Burnley on your calendar and be like, that's 3 points. It's got to be a perfect performance. We've got to smash them 5-0. You won't get anywhere. You won't get anywhere in this division. You've got to be humble enough to be like, if we're not on our A game, these teams will punish us. And that nearly happened at the end, where you kind of sleepwalking into a result where you think you're comfortable. Bang, Premier League can just turn it on its head. And it comes from a small error from Ramsey's misjudgment, and everything is on its head. So it's just a little thing there for Eddie Howe. There was good individual performances today. Really nice things to sort of look to forward is the twin number 8 with Ramsey and Willock, something that should continue long term. The experiment, I wouldn't say went perfectly, but there was some nice bits. Elanga's starting to grow a little bit, unlucky without scoring. Obviously got taken out for the red card. I feel like he would have fancied the chances to score. Bruno Guimarães is obviously top. The defence, apart from that one lapse in concentration towards the end, were pretty solid. But it's about keeping that intensity going, because the Premier League is unforgiving. It doesn't care if you think you should be winning this game. You are going to have to fight for your 3 points. And I feel as though, at the end of the day, that's what happened. I mean, on the positive side of things, you get those 3 points. I know Newcastle United fans and Sunderland and the Black Cats, 1 point off them. If you beat them, I'm pretty sure you go above them as well. So a little bit of bragging rights, add something extra to that derby. I'm really looking forward to it. If you've noticed, I have been covering a bit of Sunderland. I'm a non-biased page. I'm not just saying I hate Newcastle, I hate Sunderland. No, it's a top game between 2 teams who are starting to pick up now. I think Newcastle in the Premier League are unbeaten in 3 or 4 now. Sunderland, they got the draw at Liverpool. The game before, they got a victory against Bournemouth, and then it's at home at the Stadium of Light. It's going to be bouncing. It's going to be a really good spectacle. So I cannot wait for that one in terms of a game to watch and be like, yeah, that is some game to look forward to. But another positive in terms of Newcastle United is looking at the return of Yoane Wissa. And I like the things I saw from him, in terms of his runs, in behind, receiving the ball as well. Let's remember, he's going to be a bit rusty. And towards the end, the opportunity he got, you just think to yourself, if Wissa had a couple of games on his spec, was a bit more sort of sharp, he would have made something of that. He would have found Elanga, he would have scored. But it was a bit in a, shot cross situation, which can happen when you're a bit rusty. Your decision making can be thrown off. But you can already see the different play areas to Walter Marder. And I'm kind of sitting there and being like, Eddie Howe, instead of those twin number 8s where you've got Willock and Jacob Ramsey, take out a midfielder, drop Walter Marder into a 10 and play off of Wissa. Because Wissa's a willing runner. He'll go through in behind from the centre forward position. Then you've got Walter Marder who can spot those runs. I remember against Everton at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, that little flick that Walter Marder did round the corner for a run beyond, I think it was Willock that made the run beyond, was sumptuous. So you can see that connection building up with Wissa. And I feel as though the way he was moving in the box as well, this is a really good mover inside the box. And massive respect to him. It can be easy to sort of be there and say, I'm going to now go to AFCON. I don't care. I know Newcastle spent all the money, but I want to go and represent my country. But that sort of humbleness in him and this acknowledgement of, I want to give back to Newcastle United. I've not been fit. I've not been available. They spent a lot of money on me. They had a lot of hassle to get me. I'm going to stay and I'm going to help them. I know there's a World Cup coming, and my country, we could qualify for the World Cup finals if we win these qualifiers, which will happen in March. There's my chance. But for now, I'm going to help Newcastle, and I think he's going to be absolutely exceptional for you guys.